You want to talk about horrific crimes?
All right. Why not?
Got another horrific crime here for you.
All right, I'm in.
I think Matt from Minnesota, who called in last week,
Mm-hmm.
he may be neighbors with this guy for all I know.
Right.
A Minnesota man beheads his buddy for allegedly raping his girlfriend.
That seems fair.
He's not even ISIS or Al-Qaeda.
Well, as far as you know.
As far as I know.
Could be a sympathizer.
That is true.
Have knife will travel.
That's right. Just before midnight on June 24th, a police officer in the tiny northern Minnesota town of Deer River spotted a car with...
Can you hold on 1 second? Look at Nathan's post.
I see that.
What the hell? Are you fucking kidding me? And you know what's the worst part about that post? The 2,670 retweets.
Right. What does that tell you?
Doomed.
Right. And I did see that before.
And she's not like she's even famous. It's not like it's
no,
like
she's just some chick.
Just some chick with almost 3,000 reposts.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
It's one of those, I'll tell two friends and they'll tell two friends and so on and so on and so on.
Right. But you're sorry.
So anyway, just before midnight on June 24th, a police officer in the tiny northern Minnesota town of Deer Creek spotted a car with an obstructed license plate. When the cop tried to pull the vehicle over, however, it only accelerated.
Uh-oh.
The fleeing car reached nearly 100 miles per hour as it sped along the rural Minnesota road. It flew into a ditch, then climbed out again, then crashed once more. Finally, it stopped for good.
Right.
The driver bolted into the woods.
Nice.
The passenger, now this is where I have to laugh about this because of the description.
All right.
A balding, redheaded man named Joseph Christian.
Was he balding or
redheaded? He was balding.
Sort of a redheaded guy, but he probably had
he was thin on top and probably had the red on the side.
Right.
But it's funny that they have to mention that fact.
The Greek ring of death.
Exactly. A balding, redheaded named Joseph Christian Thorensen was ordered onto the ground at gunpoint and placed in handcuffs.
Is that a white guy or a black guy?
It's a white guy.
Are you sure? Because they didn't say in the description.
True.
It could be a black guy.
Right. Thorensen was then released. It was a decision the authorities would later regret. After they found the driver hiding in a nearby house, the man told them a terrifying story.
Okay.
Thorensen had forced him to drive at knife point, he claimed, according to the Itasca County criminal complaint. Even worse, Thorensen had allegedly confessed to committing a horrific crime.
Uh-oh.
Several days earlier, Thorensen had killed the car's owner, a friend of his named David Alexander. So anyway, this guy, he got arrested and he told the story about the horrific crime.
Yeah.
Thorensen had admitted to beating Heyman, H-A-I-M-A-N,
okay,
with a baseball bat before stabbing him in the lungs.
Wow.
The driver continued.
That's a pretty specific place to stab someone.
I would imagine. Then Thorensen had cut off his friend's head.
Wow.
And left the body parts in the woods to rot. Said the driver, who identified in the complaint with his initials TMC.
Okay.
Not TMZ, but TMC.
Not THC?
No. It would be 2 days before the authorities would arrest Thorensen, who now faces a charge of second-degree murder. Almost as shocking
And outrageous.
As the alleged crime was the way it supposedly came out. It's a dark story involving marijuana, methamphetamine, torture, and murder.
And Flacca.
It's probably Flacca. And it began with an allegation of rape.
Oh my God, this has it all.
It does. It has all the elements of a good story.
Sounds like a 2-hour episode of Law and Order.
Sure. What's that chick name that you like so much on that one show?
The lovely Mariska Hargitay.
She would be the perfect lead in this story.
Mm-hmm. Naked.
Big boobs bouncing.
She's got some great tits.
Yeah, I saw her once.
She's hot.
All right. Joe Thornton and David Heyman were friends, at least on Facebook. Here we go with Facebook again.
Here we go.
They were friends on Facebook.
Well, that makes them real friends.
Right. But they made an odd pair. Thornton was a 35-year-old with a temper and a rap sheet, standing 6'1" and weighing 225 pounds.
Wow.
He had been convicted 3 times of disorderly conduct and spent time in jail.
Jeez.
Heyman was a whippet, thin 20-year-old with a penchant for cars and a habit for making funny faces and photos.
Jesus, who wrote this?
He was whippet thin.
Whippet thin and made funny faces on Facebook.
Yes.
Wow, are they reaching for anything to fucking write about here?
That was his talent. He made funny faces on Facebook.
Like, that's 20. He hasn't done anything.
Right. It's unclear how the two knew each other, but an old Facebook page under Thornton's name says he was once in a relationship with Brittany Heyman.
Okay.
The same account suggests a fast and rough lifestyle.
Okay.
Fast and rough.
Fast and rough, huh?
Yep. Today, we shall enjoy, but tonight we play rough, reads the Post on June 21st of 2013.
Okay.
Another post boasted of damn good sex.
Well.
A third said he couldn't sleep because life's too fast sometimes.
Okay.
So he's part of the Fast and the Furious.
I guess so.
On June of 2015, Thornton was seeing another woman referred to in the complaint only by her initials. Facebook shows them in a relationship and also shows her listing Heyman as a friend. Mm-hmm. The Washington Post generally does not identify victims of sexual assault. When Thornton told his girlfriend earlier in the week that Heyman was coming over to their Grand Rapids, Minnesota apartment, however, she was not having any of that.
None of it, pal.
She was upset and told Thornton that Heyman raped her in their bedroom.
Yeah, and then she posted on Facebook, "Not in my house, faggot."
Right. When Heyman arrived, she confronted him, punched him repeatedly, she later told police. Heyman agreed to be tied up and beaten up, according to the complaint.
He agreed to be tied up and beaten up?
Yeah, because he was paying for his sins.
Oh.
So this guy shows up at this apartment, right? She's all pissed off that basically she's upset that, you know, allegedly he raped her.
Okay.
So to make up for it, he said, okay, I deserve it. I've got it coming. You can tie me up and beat me up to make it even.
And we're supposed to buy this story.
Well, that's the story.
That's the story they're giving.
Correct.
All right.
So she tied up Heyman in the bedroom, and she punched him in the face and broke his nose and kicked him in the gut.
Wow.
So basically, for ramming your cock into me unwillingly, this is your punishment.
Yeah, this is your penance.
I'm punching you in the face, breaking your nose, and punching you in the gut.
Yeah, man.
So take that. That's what you get for raping me.
And how dare you shove that fucking penis in me?
Right.
You're getting punched in the face, pal.
Exactly. The girlfriend then untied Heyman before Thornton jumped in on the beating, punching him and telling him that he should have not raped my girl.
Why'd he wait till he untied him?
I don't know. Maybe he wanted to give him a fighting chance.
I guess.
Maybe he was a man of integrity.
Where's the gasoline in the match?
Exactly.
Light this fucker up.
You should have not raped my girl.
Yeah. You already had him tied up. Put a tie around his neck, fill it with gasoline, and light that bitch. Let's go.
At first, it appeared as if that would be the end of the rape allegation.
Yeah.
The three talked about scoring some bud.
After they beat him?
After they beat his ass, then they said, hey, let's go smoke some together.
And he's like, all right, here's how we'll make up for you raping my chick and us beating you up.
Okay, you've paid your penance. I beat your ass. She kicked you in the gut. She broke your nose. We're all even. We're all square.
Yeah, got a bong?
Now let's go score some weed.
Yeah, dude, I got a bong in the car. Let's go.
Exactly.
What the fuck is going on with these three people?
This sounds like friends of Randy's.
Jeez, dude, this doesn't even sound real. Something's not. Maybe I'm crazy here, but something's not jiving.
Well, when you're a loadie or a stoner,
yeah.
Look at me throwing some 80s terms in there. Mm-hmm. This is par for the course.
Well, I could tell you this. I used to be a stoner.
Mm-hmm.
I used to love to smoke pot. And even though I love to smoke pot, I don't think I ever was willing to take a beating and then smoke pot with the people that beat me.
Right.
That didn't happen.
Well, he was a man of integrity. He said, okay, yeah, I raped your chick. I probably deserve a beating.
Now, who do you think raised this guy that raped the chick and then is going to score bud? The mom or the dad?
I'm going to say it was a broken family. I'm going to say that the dad probably was in the house till he was 12.
And raping him repeatedly?
I don't know.
So I'm thinking dad taught him to take it in the ass. Taught him to deliver some justice with his pecker. And then dad left and mom taught him how to be soft and
sure.
Forgive.
Right.
That sound about right?
Could be.
All right. Just trying to figure out people these days.
Sure. So anyway, the three talked about scoring some bud before driving off in Heyman's car in search of marijuana.
All right.
According to the complaint. As they drove, Heyman sat in the back, untied, according to the complaint.
Right.
So he had free movement. There was, however, a hint that all was not forgiven. On the back seat next to Heyman lay a baseball bat and a knife.
Oh, Jesus.
After a short drive, the three stopped in Deer River to smoke some marijuana with some friends.
Right.
Then they made another stop in the even smaller town of Ball Club.
Ball Club?
Yeah, that's a town, apparently.
The town of Ball Club.
The town of Ball Club, Minnesota.
Would you want to live in Ball Club, Minnesota?
No, of course not. Where they smoked some meth.
Jesus.
Whether it was the drugs or his broken nose, Heyman began calling Thornton and his girlfriend worthless pieces of shit. And
these guys can't figure out whether to be partying or hating each other. Fuck, they don't like each other, then they do, now they don't?
You know, at first he came there sober.
Yeah.
She confronts him and says, you fucking raped me. And he goes, yeah, you're right. I was probably drunk or high. Yeah, I deserve whatever I have coming. And he goes, how about if you tie me up and kick me in the ass? And she goes, okay, I agree to that. So she ties him up and then she punches him in the face repeatedly, kicks him in the gut. Then she goes, okay, I got my justice on you. Mm-hmm. Then the boyfriend comes in and says, I'm not done with you yet, pal. And then he gets his licks in on him. And then they go, okay, can we all shake hands and be friends? And they go, okay, Yeah, that's fine. Hey, got any weed?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, well, I know where to get some. And they go, well, let's go. So they go get some weed. They smoke some weed. And they go, you know what? This isn't strong enough. Let's go over to Ball Club. I know a guy over there who's got some meth.
Yeah.
So they drive over to Ball Club and fire up some meth.
And then they get mad again.
Well, then Heyman, who reacts negatively to meth, he starts calling Thornton and his girlfriend worthless pieces of shit and says, your chick's a slut.
Right.
That's what he told her.
Yeah, because she gave me that pussy when I fucking held her down. And
Right, exactly. So as they argued, the car began to have trouble. And while they're still arguing, Thornton and Heyman inspect the motor. The older man...
It makes no fucking sense.
So they pull off the side of the road, right? They're arguing in the car, and the car has trouble.
So they're fighting, but they're looking at the engine together?
So they go, fuck it. We're out here in the middle of nowhere. We're like 5 miles away from Ball Club.
Right.
This engine is probably, something's wrong.
Or something, right?
Yeah, so let's go look at the engine. And while they're like, you shouldn't have fucked your dude. Yeah, I know, dude, but, she's a fucking slut. She was coming on to me. Don't talk about my chick that way. What do you think's wrong? I think it's low on oil, dude.
Yeah, it is low on oil, just like your chick.
So the older man told the younger one to check the engine's oil. That's what it says in the story.
So he pulled her tampon out and took a look.
That's when Thornton hit him in the head with the bat.
Because what? He took a bat out to work on the engine?
Well, I think while he was pulling the dipstick, the guy went around, grabbed the bat out of the back seat, and then cracked him over the head with it.
What kind of fucking story is this?
Well, this is what happens when fucked up people get high.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you ever notice that this kind of stuff only happens when people are drinking or doing drugs?
What do you think? It's going to happen when you're sober?
That's my point, though. So apparently, according to the story,
yeah,
they've been drinking, or it doesn't say they've been drinking, but they were smoking weed, then they were smoking meth.
Yeah. I mean, where are you expecting this to happen? In the fucking aisle 3 at the grocery store?
Right.
No. It's going to happen where you're partying.
Exactly.
Of course.
Thornton then stabbed him in the lungs with a black machete with holes in it.
Where is he getting all these weapons?
Well, it was on the back seat. Remember I read that earlier, that in the back seat there was a ball bat and a knife?
Dude's fucking with the dipstick, and he goes back in the car and grabs both a machete and a ball bat.
Well, he grabbed the ball bat first.
Knocked him the fuck out.
Cracked him in the head.
Then went back and got the machete.
Right.
And then what, chopped him up?
Well, he stabbed him in the chest with it.
Okay.
Heyman was on the ground groaning and asking for her, the girlfriend said, when Thornton took a large knife from Heyman's belt loop and cut off his head.
Damn. The machete wasn't good enough, huh?
Apparently not.
So so this other guy had another knife.
Well, the guy had it in his belt loop, apparently.
So we're talking about 2 knives big enough to cut a head off.
Right.
And a fucking ball bat.
Sure.
And a dipstick.
Right.
And meth.
Exactly.
Weed.
Exactly.
And
a slut.
A slut. This is quite the story, dude.
Hey, where's your big chick investigator, big boobed investigator girl? She needs to get in on this.
Yeah, no kidding. Good Lord.
Right. This was not my Joe, she later told the police, apparently blaming the killing on the methamphetamine. After cutting off his friend's head, Thornton threw it in the woods.
He said, we feared for our life.
He then dragged Heyman's body in the woods, leaving his pants covered in blood from the knee down.
Wow.
After the killing, Thornton and his girlfriend drove back to their apartment where he cleaned up the blood. A day or two later, Thornton showed up at the TMC's house in the Heyman's car, and the driver told the police Thornton allegedly told him everything, but TMC did not initially believe Thornton.
Okay.
After another day or two, Thornton came back to TMC's house with a blood-covered bat.
Wow.
TMC stated that he got scared and burnt the bat in a fire pit on Friday morning. When he found a shoe in his yard, perhaps belonging to Heyman, TMC also chucked it into the fire.
The fuck did the shoe get there?
I don't know.
That story's got a lot of holes.
It does. I agree. At one point, Thornton allegedly brought Heyman's belongings to TMC's house, including a laptop, a phone, and an empty brown wallet. When Thornton left TMC's house, he didn't bother to take the wallet with him. It wasn't until June 26th, nearly a week after the killing and the 2 days after letting Thornton go, following a high-speed chase, the investigators finally arrived at his door.
So wait a minute. So they couldn't let this guy keep his head, but they also couldn't leave his shoes behind.
Apparently not.
The fuck is wrong with this guy? There's pieces missing to this story.
Well, again, this is all preliminary because this basically just happened, 4 days ago, 5 days ago?
Where were the Bay Boys when this was going?
Sure.
Maybe they did it.
Look at Nathan from Kentucky. He's got the sign for ball club in there.
Sure he does. Sure that's where his throat lives.
Sure. So it wasn't until June 26th, which was 5 days ago?
Yeah.
Nearly a week after the killing and 2 days after letting Thornton go, following the high-speed chase, the investigators finally arrived at his door.
Okay.
Thornton told the investigators that he hadn't talked to Heyman in 2 or 3 weeks, according to the complaint.
Okay.
But when the investigators asked to look at Thornton's phone, it showed a text conversation between the two men on June 20th. Mm-hmm. He was arrested and he was taken to jail. Right. Investigators found Thornton's girlfriend sleeping in the bedroom. When they later questioned her, she told them about the rape, the torture, the killing, the dismemberment. According to the complaint, she even told them that the machete was under her bed, covered in blood and her fingerprints, because she moved it.
And they emptied her pillowcase and found his head.
It didn't take authorities long to find Heyman. His torso was located at 9:30 a.m. in the vicinity identified by the girlfriend. The complaint says the torso appeared to have been dragged to the location where it was found. His head, meanwhile, was found an hour later along with bags containing Heyman's clothing and his identification.
It was found in a local bowling alley.
Once in custody, Thornton allegedly confessed to killing and dismembering his own friend. Thornton was charged Wednesday with second-degree murder. His bond is set at $2 million.
Wow.
And he is due back in court on July 5th. His girlfriend has not been indicted at this time. It's unclear whether TMC, the driver during the chase, has been charged. Cops did not find a knife in the car to back up the claim that Thornton had forced him to flee the police. It's also unclear from the complaint whether there was any truth to the rape accusation that allegedly triggered the gruesome slaying.
Did anybody update Heyman's Facebook page?
Heyman's friend did not appear to give the rape allegation much credence as they mourned the young man online. That's my bedroom, Elizabeth Clark Elison wrote under Heyman's Facebook picture. I'm never going to get over this. Others also reacted in disbelief at the 20-year-old's brutal beheading. Mm-hmm. I miss you, wrote Denise Sinner. I wish this was a dream. Rest in peace, David, added Daniel Campbell. You were a good guy and didn't deserve any of this except for the raping part. And that's it.
The showing is on Saturday at the McKnight Jones Funeral Home or on Saturday at the Johnson Smith Funeral Home, depending on which piece you want to see.
Right.
What the hell? What kind of fucked up story is that?
Drugs, not good, my friends.
Really? You think? What kind of fucking idiot cuts off somebody's head?
ISIS?
Okay. These guys were far from ISIS.
True.
Whatever the opposite of ISIS is, that was these idiots.
Sure.
ISIS is at least organized.
Right. Look at Nathan in Kentucky. He's got it right.
There it is.
He's got the Medusa head.
Yep.